373532.
No way.
Hello, Al Baldasaro.
I have some concerns on this health bill, and let me tell you why. Of course, you're very familiar with, we also have our own budget office here in New Hampshire, the Legislative LBO. They state within 10 years, along with Charlie Angus and the think tanks throughout New Hampshire, within the next 10 years, this health care bill is going to cost the taxpayers over $10 billion in Medicaid costs. Now, forget about Medicare. We're going to go with Medicaid costs on people that didn't want insurance. Now they're going to be forced on it, and if they're low income, they're going to want the Medicaid side of it. And we're already struggling, so now we're trying to fix the retirement. So now a lot of legislators are talking, do we protect the police, fire, and teachers, or do we protect now the health insurance that was mandated onto New Hampshire? So I'm concerned, when you voted for that, were you thinking of the $10 billion, I'm sorry, the $1 billion cost to the state of New Hampshire within a 10-year period? Also, why would you spend taxpayers' money on abortions? That's it. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm happy to tell you that you are wrong. So let me tell you, first of all, for the first years, the federal government will be paying 100%, and then by 2019, they'll be paying 93%, okay? The governor's office came out and said that this is going to be revenue neutral, so I think that you probably heard that, or if you haven't, you should look, because the governor's office was concerned about this, as was I. And I went and said, you know, we can't shift all this cost there, and we worked this out. So you're wrong about your numbers, okay? And the other, well, you know, if you read the report this week, you'll see that the governor looked at that, and he expressed his concern, too. And we've been working on this for a year, and we finally got it right. So he said it's revenue neutral. The other part is, and you know this, Al, that when people go to the emergency rooms and they don't have any insurance, you have to factor in the cost there, which is just enormous, absolutely enormous, especially in our metro areas. The second part is, this is not paying for abortion. We have the Hyde Amendment, and the Hyde Amendment is still in effect, which says you can't use federal funds for abortion, okay? We also had the president come out and state it, so in an order. So it is not. Now here's the thing. There is so much money being spent by the National Chamber of Commerce, not your local chambers, the National Chamber of Commerce and the insurance companies joined together to defeat this bill. And they and others have run this story over and over and over again. And all you have to do is just have a look at the Hyde Amendment, have a look at any of the websites that have the bill and have the truth in it, and you would see this money is not going to be spent on abortions. Couldn't before, can't now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question is 373521.
I'm just going to say that I'm a proud American, you're a vet, and my very humble opinion as one voter, that what is going on right now with the election of Obama and his, what I call radical thoughts and ideas, and the Democratic Congress that's in place now, that I think the destruction of America is underway. I'm not trying to be too melodramatic, but what I see happening breaks my heart. Okay, and I can't believe that we're going down the road we're going down. Right? To me, this is going to break the bank. And I'm proud to say that I'm one of those people that's walking around very happy that the mood of the country is changing. And I'm looking forward to this election cycle. I got to tell you right out, I'm not voting for you.
Yeah. I sort of guessed that.
I'm being honest here.
It's okay.
I guess, I got a million questions, but the one I'm going to ask is, why do you... Ask a question. Thank you, sir.
Respect the
Respect, come on.
He's got his 2 minutes.
Thank you.
The one question I have is, why didn't you find it within your own self to say that what you're trying to force on us was not good enough for Congress?
You know, that's one of my favorite questions because nobody knows, but we are now going to be in the exchange. Congress is going to be in the exchange. So here's the thing. You know, all this misinformation. Now let me explain that. Okay, first of all, Congress has the same insurance that anybody who works for the federal government has. I have the same insurance as the janitor at the VA. Yes, we do. And I am very sorry that people don't believe that. And the reason I know this is true is because my husband's a federal employee. So when I was elected to Congress, I never picked up their insurance. I stayed on my husband's plan. Why? Because it is the same plan. Now, what's going to be different in 2014 is that Congress, members of Congress, are going into the exchange. So, you know, this is what I keep talking about with the misinformation there. Now, I want to address the thing. I'm grateful to you for serving this country. My husband served also. He's a Democrat. I was a military spouse. I'm obviously a Democrat. Serving your country and loving your country does not belong to one party. Both of us. You and I together both served our country, and we both love this country. And it's difficult for me to hear that people actually think that we would run this country down, that we don't feel the same way about this country as you do. I never doubt your great love for this country, and I don't understand why anybody would doubt ours. Now, since you're a vet, I wanted to talk a moment about what has happened for vets, and I know Al knows this is true, that since 2006, they have put more money into the VA budget than ever before in history, because we know that we need to serve our vets. We know what the conditions were. We know the conditions for our military men and women, and we've been very heavily investing in our military men and women and in our vets, and we should. I sit on the Armed Services Committee. I have 2 subcommittees there. One is readiness, and we have done a very good job with readiness, and the other one is personnel. To me, that is one of the greatest honors, to be able to sit on the personnel subcommittee, travel, go see our military men and women, talk to them, find out how their families are doing, what they need, and to help. So I would say, and I hope that you hear the sincerity here, that you would recognize that we love this country as much as you do, and we may see this differently, and obviously we do, but it doesn't mean that what you fear is happening. The last part that I wanted to point out about all of this is that, again, our responsibility is to 650,000 people in this district alone. So you may move in a circle that says, you know, your 50 people that you know or 100 people that you know don't want it or do want it. But I look across the whole breadth of the district, and I received many, many letters and phone calls and emails. The other part of this is that when I ran in 2006 and in 2008, I was very clear about supporting health care reform. As a matter of fact, I said I wanted people to be able to buy into Medicare. And so I was elected to do this. And again, and so, you know, I feel that I am answering the constituents. A lot of you say, well, you're not speaking for me. And I respect that. I know what it's like to be on the other side, where I don't feel that my member of Congress was representing everything I wanted. But that is the system there. And I only get to vote one way. I can't vote yes, no, and maybe. I can vote yes or no. And so I said that I would work for health care. And I honored that pledge that I made. and I understand what you're saying when you say you're not going to vote for me in November, and I respect that. I never